3, 2, 1.
My name is Nick. I'm a full-time trader and entrepreneur. We put out tons of stuff for free for traders. These are real trades. This is real money. I'm putting my money on the line. This is going to be a live trading video here, locking in over $1,000 on this trade. Wow, I'd love to get in on this. Technical insights that really look good to me. Here we go. We're live. Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another live stream. It is a Monday, and we're back in the markets. Thanks for being here. I got people in the chat already, back to the standard normal thing, which is going through markets, talking about setups here on the stream. If you're new to my channel, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern, I go live. So that is Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern U.S. time. So if you are watching this back at a later time, I know a lot of you guys watch this after it finishes going live. Maybe you can't join us because you have something go on. That's fine. But if you would like to join us live and you're able to, feel free to jump in here. We are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern, hanging out. So what's up to my friends who are in the chat already? We got Trey, Denise, Yasir Khan, Renesha, Nana at home. Good to see you. I saw your comment today's video. What's up, Dade? Ajurai, Bruce, Big G. Good to see everybody. Thank you for being here today. Happy to have you back. I mentioned in this video today that I put out that, you know, it's one of those things. I'm like thankful every day to be able to do this stuff on YouTube. And I've told this story a couple of times on my channel before. I've been doing this on YouTube for like 2 years now, two and a half, maybe years now. And, you know, it's been a really, really fun journey. When I first started doing these live streams, there was like nobody watching. And then I worked up, I remember being so thrilled when we had a stream that hit like 10 people. And then I was just ecstatic when we hit 20 people. So now it's kind of crazy because, you know, during the bigger streams, we can get up to, you know, 1,000, 1,100 people, which is kind of wild. But I do appreciate you guys coming back and hanging out with me to do some more market analysis. We do this every day, sort of as a part of my consistency and discipline and trading. It really does help me out as well. So let's get into it. What's going on today in markets? Well, you can see some nice strength coming in for the Australian dollar today. So AUD pairs are probably doing pretty well. Meanwhile, you've got a little bit of weakness here for the CHF and the pound, and then a little bit of strength for the yen. So some of those Asian currencies doing pretty well today. You've got the JPY, the Japanese yen, and the Australian dollar. So those ones are doing pretty well compared to other places. You've got, again, the pound doing a little bit weaker. The dollar's sort of flat today. And then you have the euro slightly in the green, but not by a whole lot. And then, of course, you've got the CAD and NZD sort of both mixed today. So kind of an interesting day. I would say that today's winner seems like the AUD. You can see green across the screen there. And for those of you guys who do not know what I'm using, this is the currency heat map. It is available on our website completely for free. I use it every single day to sort of help me gauge what's going on. We also put out articles and stuff that we work really hard on. Frank's in the other room right now, stirring up some of the latest articles for you guys. So if you're not already in on the website, feel free to head over to a1trading.com. Here's what it looks like. You just head over to a1trading.com. You can search it up, or you can just type it in your thing. Bookmark it, use it for free. Again, we got COT report data, retail sentiment, trade ideas, live, currency heat maps, and a lot size calculator. Got tons more stuff on the site. So if you're not already using it, check out the site, completely free there for you. Okay, so what is going on in terms of markets? Well, this week is going to be a busy one. We do have some big news looming around the corner. I know that we have economic or monetary policy here for the UK on Thursday. And we also have the big one, which is going to have to be NFP on Friday. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the news in the week here, in case you missed the Sunday analysis video that I did. But I did want to point this out just because we do have some news that could be market moving. In fact, we have something coming here for the US. You've got ISM manufacturing PMI. This is, for those of you guys who do not know, it's a level of diffusion index based on surveyed purchasing managers in the manufacturing industry. That sounds like a lot, but let's go down to here. It's a leading indicator of economic health. Businesses react quickly to market conditions, and their purchasing managers hold perhaps the most current and relevant insight into the company's view of the economy. Okay, so a little bit of an economic release there here on the economic calendar. So what else do we have? Well, we have Australia coming out with a rate statement on Tuesday, right there at just a little past midnight my time. So knowing me, I will probably be asleep. But for those of you guys who do have AUD currency pairs open, may want to keep an eye on any of this. You've also got NZD unemployment coming out at 6:45 p.m. on Tuesday for the Eastern time zone. You'll just have to find out what time that is for you. And then a little bit of news there on Wednesday for the US again, and then a big day on Thursday for the pound. So if you are trading the pound, you've got GBP monetary policy coming in hot on Thursday. So we'll have to talk about some GBP pairs coming into the week here to see if there's anything of interest. Finally, you have Friday, which is going to be our biggest notable day of the week, as we do have, well, we have the member Broadbent Speaks for the UK. So that has potential to anything that has anything to do with the Bank of England or monetary policy could be, market moving. But then the big one, of course, is NFP. If you don't know what NFP is, this is non-farm payroll. It's fancy wording that basically is unemployment here in the US, excluding the farming industry. That is a huge market mover potentially, especially with all the loaded springs that we've got going on with monetary policy here in the US. Are they going to raise rates? Are they going to cut on spending? All of that is in question right now, and big time going to be looking to the jobs numbers to either lead us one way or the other. So big stuff on Friday and a really big week for news. I do want to invite you guys, if you're new to my channel, if you are enjoying it so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. I'm going to be covering everything that's going on here this week. I do it every week. I'm sort of converting my YouTube channel into like a reporting page almost. I feel like I'm just following whatever's going on to try and give some clarity to traders out there who are wondering how they can trade these events, how they can deal with them. So if you're new to my channel right now, a lot of you guys who watch my stuff are not yet subscribed. I want to encourage you, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps to support what we do here, which is free trading content, free trading coverage, all sorts of stuff like that. So if you're new here, like I said, hit that subscribe button down below. And let's get into it, my friends. Let's look at the charts, see what's going on from a technical analysis perspective. Here we go. So the DXY here still struggling as it was last week. We saw a little bit of a weakness there. As price did make a breakout to the downside. So again, we are looking at DXY. This is the US dollar currency index. And last week we had a really big change in the direction here of price. We saw things really move south pretty quickly. And as we come into this week, it is going to be a question of whether or not that is set to continue, or is it time for a bounce for the dollar? Well, I think that the biggest thing that's riding on this right now is probably NFP at the end of the week, right? You have a lot of speculation and price action that could lead up into the event, though honestly, I do expect the dollar to probably not move a tremendous amount leading up to the news, because a lot of times you got to remember that if we have NFP there on the, what's the day? What's the day? I'm just curious. If it's Friday, I can't do math, so I'm just looking it up. Okay, it's the 6th, right? So if you have the 6th, which is right here, right? If all of the traders out there know that there's going to be big news right out here, right? So this is when NFP comes out, that non-farm payroll, that big unemployment figure that's coming for the US, right? If everyone knows that that is happening here, leading up to that, a lot of times you just get consolidation and pause prior to the big event, and then we can see maybe a spike to the downside or a spike to the upside, right? That's kind of the situation that we're in here looking at the US dollar. So I want to make you guys aware of that. Don't be surprised if the dollar is quiet leading up to that event. Now, it could also be volatile leading up into the event. There are some situations in which information leaks, or there's like clues that come out, and then you get big movements prior to the news as traders anticipate what the numbers will be, right? We don't know what the numbers are going to be. We can make a educated guess, but we don't know with certainty. So keeping an eye on that news will be a big deal going into this week. So it is an FP week. That's going to be a topic of discussion for this week. So I want to talk about the dollar. So I am pretty bearish on the dollar at this time. From a technical analysis perspective, looking at the daily chart, you saw that price came up to this 93.2 level. and it found a pretty strong level of resistance here going into last week, right? We saw price pop up to that zone and see a little bit of a double top form here, followed by a break of structure, right? So you had this nice little ascending, rising higher lows sort of concept, and then bang, you had a big push down lower last week that kind of got us underneath that level and held as resistance there. So, that's all that to say, you had a lot of sell pressure here that I think has the potential to continue. We could see a little bit more of a lower push here for the dollar, especially with the Fed being quite dovish, being quite hesitant to talk about, reducing spending or tapering. So I would say for me, looking at the dollar on the south side for setups is preferable for the time being. Now, that is my opinion. Please remember, this is not me telling you what to go trade. This is me sharing my thoughts and my opinions on this live stream. I want to clarify that because I do not know with certainty what is going to happen. I am a trader, not a magician. That's my expression, if you will. So I'm a trader, not a magician. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I can't make the charts do what I want it to do. All I can do is react accordingly and risk appropriately, right? So when I look at the dollar, if I have a bearish bias coming into this week, let's look at some of the crosses to see if there's anything we could look at. Well, Euro USD had a really interesting start to the week. We gapped lower, followed by a strong run up, now pushing through, filled the gap very, very quickly. You can see there is a gap on this chart. If I take it down to the lower time frames, we had a gap here on the, let's look at the 1 hour, see if we can see it. Yep, can't even see it on the, we have to go to maybe to the 1 minute to show this gap. Nope, it even filled on the 1 minute, I think. Yeah, you get so you could see price gap down and then filled immediately. So very, very interesting to see that. But anyways, with the euro dollar, you do have a little bit of an interesting start to the week. You had price make a push above this level of resistance towards the end of last week. So now what was supply, we are going to be seeing if it can hold as now support, right? So you had this breakout. Weird start to the week, but I think mostly price is just testing this area at 1.87 to see if we can hold that and maybe make a push up to the next zone there at 1.195. Again, we've rounded off the bottom here and shown a lot of demand here. So I would say that the euro dollar very well could see higher pricing this week, especially if we can clear that level that we were just at 1.19, let's say. So that's kind of my thoughts with the euro dollar going into the week. I am sort of bullish biased on this pair. Not necessarily my favorite pair to trade against the dollar personally. I'd rather trade other things, but still nonetheless a very heavily traded one. So I wanted to cover it here. So I think that, like I said, if price does get bullish, you have room to maybe see euro dollar extend up to that 1.195 zone here in pink, which is a major resistance there from earlier in July. So that is, late June was sort of where that level got tagged. So that's kind of what I'm watching for on the Euro USD, is to see if this can hold, if we can start to see some breakouts. If you are a day trader, if you're looking at shorter time frame stuff, maybe you look to catch some of the retest here. Like I said, we are seeing increases in demand here on the euro dollar. So maybe there's something where, you could look for opportunities to, break, retest, continue, something like that. If you are bullish on the euro dollar, this thing does look pretty strong right now. So we'll see if that can hold going into this week. Again, let me know, what are you guys thinking? What are you bullish or are you bearish on the euro dollar? And again, big shout out to everybody who's here with me live. Thanks for being here. We got 480 people hanging out on YouTube. So appreciate you showing up. Going long on GU this week. Nice tray. I sort of agree with that. It's bullish, Nick. Who sold gold last Friday? Congrats. NFP week. Yes, indeed. NFP week definitely has potential to really move markets for sure. Can I have NFP list, Nick, for the last time? Listen, there's no offense, but like, you are one of 483 people here, 484 if you include me. So I can't get to all the comments. I do my best to read them when I can. Just watch along if you want to see a list for NFP. We're going to be looking at lots of stuff. So what are you guys thinking? Okay, bullish, Euro USD bullish. Some people agree. I'm selling EU and GU this week, betting on the dollar, I suppose. All right, we could see, it's one of those things. We don't know what's going to happen exactly with the dollar this week. It is a loaded week with that NFP news coming in. So we will see. GU longs for days. I went long on EU on Friday. What about Bitcoin? Perhaps we will get to at some point today or tomorrow. More bull on the Euro USD. Bullish. Believe dollar is going to fall. EU strong right now. Okay, cool. And again, just because people think that it's going up does not mean it's absolutely going to go up. Remember that, again, this is my analysis. I can be right. I can be wrong. And if you disagree with me, you're not an idiot. You may just have a different strategy. You may have a different reasoning than I do. And truthfully, we could both still make money. Let's say I'm long and you're short, right, on this currency pair. We could actually both make money, because let's say that I took a long and you took a short, right? At the same time, let's say that the market does come down for a little bit. You take profit. I'm still in my trade, even though it's a little bit of drawdown. And then it rallies and I'm able to make money too. See how that works? The thing about trading is that it's there's plenty of money to be made, especially if you have the patience and a proper strategy that keeps you in good trades as long as possible. That is really, really key. Okay, so that's the euro dollar. Thank you guys for your feedback there. Appreciate you sharing that. So let's take a look at the pound dollar here. So the pound dollar is sitting at a spot that I really, really like on the bullish side. So I wanted to point this out. Most retail traders, according to, I did not mean to do that. Let me change this back. So most retail traders are currently short on the pound dollar. What that means is that the average trader, the average person in the markets that is probably not making money is currently short on the pound dollar. So I'll pull this up. I headed over to the website, a1trading.com, and check this out. Pound dollar, 76% of retail traders that are using myfxbook.com are short on the GBP USD currency pair. That tells us a little bit of an interesting perspective. So what retail traders, the traders that usually do not make money, they are piling into shorts on this thing that is trending higher. So what that tells me is actually I would sort of be more interested to be on the long side, betting against that losing crowd. Does that mean that it is absolutely going to go higher with a guarantee? No, it does not. Does it mean that there's a slight bias for me and for probably a lot of traders out there to look for long side setups? I would say yes, right? Because again, if you know that the average trader is piling into shorts and does not usually make money, there's a very strong chance that we could see a rally here for the pound dollar, especially as we sit in a really strong level of support. Here you could see we're looking at the 1 hour chart. Let's actually change this to the 4 hour to get a little better of a view. So here's the 4 hour chart. So the 4 hour chart looks really interesting to me. You've sort of got price hovering at a key level of what was resistance, right? Now we saw it consolidate here, finally break out, and now pull back to this spot and now sort of consolidating again. The question is, can we see the extension of this level or the extension of this trend up back to the highs there at 1.4 and maybe even beyond? I am currently long biased on this currency pair, so I do like the idea of holding this zone. If it does hold, like I said, there's probably some decent risk to reward should we see prices extend up to 1.4 and maybe even beyond, right? So that's the thought for me on the pound dollar. I do like this to the long side. Let me give you another perspective. We'll look at the daily chart here. The daily chart has something interesting about it. You can notice here that we've got this series of, well, here's a high, right? And then you had lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And then right here, a higher high. So a little bit of a shift in the momentum here of the pound dollar. Is that going to continue? Maybe. I think that I think that there's a decent shot at looking to extend that higher high, maybe a little bit further here for the pound dollar. So that is sort of why I am bullish biased on this, especially with last week's very dovish response from the Fed. I do think that the pound dollar has potential to move higher. That is, again, that is my opinion. I can be right, I can be wrong. I just don't like to tell people like, oh yeah, it's certainly going to do this, because that's just never a case in trading. The thing about successful traders, a lot of times, when I was brand new to this stuff, when I was first getting into trading the markets, I thought that when I went on YouTube, I'd watch all these people that were making trading content, and I would watch these people and I'd say, wow, that person thinks that the Australian dollar is going higher. So I'm going to go buy the Australian dollar just because they think so. They obviously know all about markets, so they know what's going to happen. Then as time went along, what I realized is that profitable traders, they don't necessarily know where the markets are going either, right? And they don't have to. The point is, let's say that I have a thesis about the pound, right? Let's say that I do think that this thing is going higher. And it does, right? It does end up going higher, and things look really, really good for my position. And instead of just taking a very small profit very quickly, I hold on to that trade. And let's say that this thing runs way higher. Like, let's say it just continues for the next month, and we see this screaming uptrend for the pound dollar that allows me to capture this fantastic trade. That's awesome. But let's say scenarios where it doesn't work out, which they happen to me and they happen to everybody. Let's say it actually does the opposite. We see a screaming downtrend, like a terrifying drop here on the pound dollar for the next month. But I took a loss right there and I moved on. The difference here is that a profitable trader knows how to capitalize on when they're right and minimize damage when they're wrong. It's not that they know the future. I'm not, like I say often on my channel, I'm not a magician. I'm just a trader. And as a trader, my goal is to risk small to potentially capture large gains when they come my way. I don't get to control when they come my way. I don't get to control where the market goes. I'm just one guy in this giant sea of traders, right? So understanding your insignificance in markets is actually a really important step in becoming profitable, I would say. So that's what I got for you in terms of that little bit of a little side note for you. So back to the pound dollar, like I said, I do think this thing has potential long side. Doesn't mean I'm telling you that it's absolutely going higher, because again, I can be wrong, but I'm betting accordingly to see if I can capture a nice runner there. Does that make sense? That is thoughts to consider on the pound dollar there. Next up is going to be dollar yen. We'll take a look at USD, JPY, see what's going on with this one. Back down to the lows, it seems like, my friends. We are seeing the dollar yen just really, really struggle to find any progress as we come down to the lows yet again. So the dollar yen here at trading at 109.46 or so. I've got a friend in the other room, Frank. He wants to go to Japan someday. So he would like this thing probably to go higher so that the cost of going to Japan would be cheaper. This is just a real world currency application, right? Because if your currency goes further in other places, it's actually cheaper to travel to them. Here in the US, it's sort of been an expensive thing to go to Europe, right? Because if you think about the euro to dollar, right? My dollar doesn't go so far in Europe. It doesn't go as far, right? Whereas in Europe, coming to America, it's a little bit better, right? Because you have a little bit more bang to your, not bang to your buck, but bang to your euro, right? So dollar yen, the idea here is that if price is able to break down underneath this, you very well may see a move lower, a pretty significant move lower on the dollar yen. This level, right? Holding at 109.5, let's say, it is really, really hovering there. And I'd love to get your feedback, guys. What do you think? Comment in the chat there. Do you think that the dollar yen is a buy here, or do you think it is set to break out lower? What do you think? Comment in the chat. I would love to hear your thoughts. And I'm going to grab my water. You guys let me know what your thoughts on here. Dollar yen, higher or lower? Let me know. I think that I'm scooting my chair all around to go get my water. So I got it. We're good. By the way, say hello to everybody to Mr. Bull Cow. I always get comments. People tell me, this is not actually a bull. Apparently, this is a big cow, and I didn't know that. So how is that not a bull? I'm very uncultured, I guess. I should probably know this. I live in the Southeast U.S. I'm around, livestock and stuff like that. So either ways, I didn't know that was a cow, but we got a cow in the building, so that's pretty cool. All right, so what are you guys thinking with the old dollar yen? Some people are saying bearish. Some people are saying, okay, short-term dollar bear, mid to long-term bull. Too rangy to predict. Bullish, lower, lower on risk off, breakout lower, lower highs, bear all the way. JPY is playing around. It's difficult. It's better to wait for the NFP to come higher. I don't know, probably a buy. Hello, bull. Oh, Victor, thank you very much for the 17 Danish krona. DKK versus gold, my pros. D, it's in our two most stable. Okay, let's look. That's an interesting one to try out today. For my friend Victor, who donated to the stream, thank you so much for doing that, by the way. It does help to keep the lights on here in the office. Let's see. DKK versus XAU. Is that even a thing? How am I? Okay, wait. XAU DKK, right? Maybe. Victor, I'm not sure if I can look at that. I can look at USD DKK, right? Look at that. But I'm unable to look at gold. So maybe what we could do is we could do a quick look at this one, and then we'll go look at gold and see what's going on. And you can make your own sort of opinions there. But again, thank you very much for the 17 Danish krona. So that's an interesting chart to talk about. You did sort of have a little bit of a falling here as the dollar has sort of changed a little bit of its tone. We had such a strong dollar for the last month or two there. You can see, here's just a quick trend line drawn across this thing. You can see, lots of uptrend, lots of strength overall. And then just recently, a little bit of a fall from grace there here on the dollar. So I am sort of bearish on the dollar, which would lead me to also say that, if I was looking at this chart, I'd have slightly bearish tendencies on this pair. So, the idea of a strengthening Danish krona could mean prices pushing lower here against the dollar. If you were looking at from a Fibonacci retracement idea, right? If you were to go from the low here, decent moves could be, right on back down to the 50% level, right? Which brings us down to a level like 6.2. Again, that's not, a guarantee that that's going to happen because especially with NFP news around the corner, we will have to wait to see really what those numbers present. If the numbers come out really weak, I will probably be shorting the dollar for the next couple of weeks. We'll see what they come out though. I am sort of on the sidelines for the most part with that. I do have some dollar trades going into it. I am, like I said, bearish on the dollar at this time. Talking about a potential extension down to that level if you do see dollar weakness, I would say that that's a pretty reasonable area. Now, on top of that, you do have a pit stop of 38.2% retracement there at this sort of consolidation zone. So a couple places to look at if you're looking at the Danish krona, sort of one of those off currencies, a more exotic, if you will, but still a reasonable one to check out nonetheless. Next up, let's take a look at, there it is, you guys, taking a look at gold, XAU, USD, hashtag gold gangs in the chat. Where are you guys at? I know a lot of you guys are looming. You've been waiting. This is your moment. So let's do it. Hashtag gold gang in the chat. Where are you guys at? Drop your hashtag gold gangs. A lot of you guys who love trading gold, you wait for this every stream. So thanks for sticking around. Glad that you're here. Again, if you're new to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Hey, I had some questions recently on for people who are around the world who may or may not be able to trade gold. If you're not able to trade gold and you are looking to do so, there are some brokers that I have mentioned down below in the description. If you would like to check them out, click the links there and you can find some of the brokers that may offer that in your country. So again, if you are interested in trading gold, or some of the indices or stocks or things that you may not be able to, there are some brokers that you can check out down below in the description. And if you sign up using those links, they are affiliate links, so they help the channel out. So you may not have to donate or spend any money, but if you do sign up with a broker, I would encourage you to check out the ones down below in the description. Like I said, it does help the channel out a lot. Okay, lots of people with the hashtag gold gang. Oh, thank you very much for that. Gold gang, cool. Good to see you guys. Finally, gold gang. What's up? All right, we're in the building now. Let's do it. So gold pulled back pretty strongly. The question is now with gold, are we going to double top here? And are we going to sort of find too much resistance here for gold to continue higher? This one has to be talked about in reference to the big upcoming NFP news that we sort of have looming. This one is a big deal because, again, we have a big concern around inflation right now. And the thing about the gold market is that if you're looking at the gold market in respect to the dollar strength, right? or weakness for that matter. If you see dollar weakness continue, gold likely will rise, right? Because again, if we have increasing concerns around inflation, that is tending to be more of a positive thing for gold. That's actually arguably why we saw the dramatic rise there last week for the gold market, right? So that's the idea. Is we had that double top last week. The question is, can we get back above it? And can we actually hold those gains this time to try and push higher? That's going to rely heavily on dollar weakness this week. If that happens, then great. Dollar or gold longs could be in play for me, but going to have to wait to see because we are sort of stuck back in this range yet again. On the flip side, if we see dollar strength, if we hear talks of tapering or something that could change the narrative a little bit there, maybe we are looking at, a push underneath that level and looking for breakouts lower. That might also be something to consider going into this week. And keep an open mind, because whether you're bullish or bearish, when markets change and things in those markets change, it can be a very big, slap in the face if you're unwilling to move on your analysis. A lot of times people get so caught up in being right that they end up taking a large loss, right? So very, very dangerous stuff there. So with that said, with gold here, taking a look at this one, Junaid says buy like 10 times in the chat. Thank you for that. EJ gang hashtag. Well, we got a gang for everything, I guess. Yeah. So Victor donated again. What did you say, Victor? Let me look at that. I'm meaning USD DKK versus USD gold. You know what? Let me see if I can do this. I'm going to compare XAU USD to DKK USD. It's not exactly what you were saying, but it's going to be close. If you're talking about correlations, speaking about the one that we just talked about, right? We talked about the Danish krona, and now we're talking about the gold market. You're seeing something sort of interesting here. You're seeing these sort of move together, right? Meaning that you have XAU USD and DKK USD sort of moving similar, which is actually interesting. I don't know much about the Danish economy, but I would wonder if it has some form of a correlation to the gold market at all. Here you can see they're both moving down, both moving up. And then you sort of have this period of time where both are moving down, both are moving sideways. Now here's one where they diverge. So you do have some instances of that, but most of the time it seems like they tend to move together. So that's kind of an interesting concept. Actually, sort of one more thing to add there is that you do see a little bit of a divergence going on right now where you see, the Danish krona rising in value, and then you have the gold market sort of giving back. So kind of an interesting concept. If you are bullish on one of these or both of these, maybe there's some correlation plays to jump in there, right? So just my thoughts. Victor, again, thank you very much for the donation, my friend. Appreciate it. It does help to keep the channel running. And as always, very, very much appreciated. You guys don't have to donate, but whenever you do, it really does just help to all the stuff that we do here. I've got people who help, work on this content and paid employees and an office and lighting and cameras and all that stuff. So what is free to you guys is not necessarily free to me. I do obviously make money from YouTube, but it does help when you guys drop donations. So you don't have to, but it always is appreciated. Should I hold my NZD USD short? I'm in profits right now. Yes, sir. We will definitely take a look at NZD USD just for you. Again, thank you very much for the €2 there. Let's finish on gold, and then we'll take a look at NZD USD, because honestly, I think there might be some talks that could be interesting for both. So looking at the gold market, again, we double topped last week. We saw a sell-off there, and now we're seeing a little bit of a pop here in the New York session on the 4-hour chart. Will that hold? Will it not? That's going to be the question right now as we look at this. So to your question, Yasir, that comment about NZD USD is probably in some ways correlated to gold as well, because you have this concept of dollar strength or dollar weakness this week. That is the big question on everybody's mind. If we can form a higher low here and we see a little bit more of a confirmation to the upside and continued bullishness for gold, that could be weakness for the dollar. That actually could be sort of a scary thing for NZD USD shorts. Now, I don't know the future, so I can't tell you, and I'm not here to advise you what to do with your trade because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing my analysis. On gold, I think that it is potentially going higher, right? I think that this looks pretty strong, especially with inflationary concerns. There's a little bit of a wind in the sail for gold. That's not a guarantee that it's going higher, but I would say it adds to the probability of higher pricing for the gold market. So these dips to me look interesting for potential long side action on the gold market. We'll take a look at NZD USD for Yasir. Again, thank you very much for the €2 donation. Appreciate it. So Yasir asks, should I hold my NZD USD short? I'm in profits right now. Okay, so you must be trading this thing on the higher time frame. If you are holding on the short side and still in profit as price is pulling back. The question here is NZD USD. I am short biased on the Aussie, not as much the NZD, but sort of in sympathy since the two economies tend to move together. I am short biased on the Aussie because of the lockdowns going on there and sort of just the concerns around the Delta variant. I think that has a potential to really slow the economy like it did back in, or last year, right? Now, where we're at, I would say on the higher time frames, things are still looking pretty bearish. However, if things do get bullish, you have the very possible scenario of moving right on back up to 0.71, right? If price makes a stab at trying to push higher, very quickly you could see a move back up to the top of this range, up there at 0.71, which would probably not be great on the short side. However, if you are looking at this thing from a longer term perspective, the trend does seem to be on the side of the bears, right? So if you are looking to, if you're more looking at this from a swing trading perspective, maybe there is some downside. I would say that obviously a big barrier to that would be a push back underneath this level of support that we made back in March of this year and have held since then quite substantially. So as we look at this, if I'm looking at this thing, I would say for me, a setup to the downside would look more like this. I'd like to see a sign of strength to the downside and then looking to sell into the rallies. That's my opinion there. To the downside, that's how I would like to be looking for it. So where we currently sit, I think we're sort of in no man's land, right? We're sort of just back and forth in this range. But again, could honestly just very much dependent on the dollar strength or weakness this week. So I do not know short term. This wouldn't be a setup that I'm personally interested in jumping into. I'd personally be waiting for some form of a breakout to the downside and then looking for continuation. Or if things get much better in terms of the situation with the Delta variant, et cetera. If things change, maybe a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, I could look to be even buying, especially dependent on the dollar strength or weakness. I would say that a big breakout point for the bulls could be a move above this point here at 0.7020, let's say. That could be an interesting spot to look at. And then also, like I said, on the flip side, as we trade back and forth in this range, a move to the downside could also be interesting. So for me, if I'm looking at this, I'd be more interested in taking action if we see something like this. That's not saying that is what is going to happen. That's what I'm saying. If that starts to happen, I'd be more interested in that. So that's my thoughts. Hopefully it was helpful to you. Again, thank you very much for the donation, Yasir, about your NZD trade. I hope it works out for you. Again, stick to my best advice is whatever trading plan and strategy that you've set out for yourself. Make sure you've tested it, make sure you're confident in it, and stick to it, right? Because I can't tell you what to do in your own trading strategy. All right, we'll keep moving along. I do want to also cover AUD USD here as we get along. So the Aussie dollar. Making a little bit of a rally today. We saw a lot of green for the Aussie as things have gotten going. Now, similar to the NZD USD, I would love to see this thing break underneath the lows, but there may also be opportunities to pick up some shorts should things extend a little bit higher. Now, for me, I'm a little bit cautious with the Aussie in terms of that Delta variant, so I would like to be more on the short side of this currency pair for the time being. You sort of have this little bit of a rising higher lows situation. If you're a breakout trader, maybe there's something like that in play. And then if you're looking for a bigger pullback, maybe a move down back to the 50% looks interesting. So couple ideas there. So this thing to me from a technical and fundamental analysis perspective, however, looks very bearish. I think that this thing has more downside. Now, I could be wrong about that. So please know that just me saying that does not mean that it is absolutely going lower. That is my opinion, and opinions aren't always respected by the markets. The markets make up their own mind. So That is what we're thinking. So what SPX 500, what are we looking at? So the S&P 500, someone mentioned it in the chat there, still hovering just around the highs, haven't made any significant move today. So I just wanted to see where we're at with this. Guys, I'm going to wrap up the stream. Thank you so much for being here. Before I go, I want to encourage you guys, if you're not already in our Discord, to come join us. We have quite a few traders from around the world who trade with us inside of the Discord. If you're not already in there, you get access to all the trades that I am taking. So if I take a trade, you'll see my entry, my stop loss. You can make fun of me when I mess up. I get it all the time. I'm used to it. All sorts of stuff like that. So if you're not already in the Discord, there's a link down below in the description, and there's a 25% off code that you can use in the chat there. So, or not in the chat, in the description. So if you're not already in there and you would like to join us, now's your chance to get in there for a cheap price. 25% off. Again, you get access to our chat rooms. You get access to our live private coaching webinars with Joe from Australia, a very experienced educator and trader there. And then you also get access to all the trades being sent by myself, Frank, and Patrick. So again, if you've been waiting, now's your chance to get in for a cheap price, 25% off using the codes that are down below in the description. So check it out. If you've been meaning to join us, now's your chance. Thanks so much, guys, for being here. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you back soon. We got another stream starting on the second channel, A1 Trading on YouTube. We'll have Ryan coming up. So more trade ideas and stuff to come. If you just showed up late, look up A1 Trading on YouTube and join us for the next stream. Hope to see some of you guys in there. I'll be in the chat. Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
I know you were expecting Nick, but my name's Julie and I do the real work around here. I wanted to take a second to thank you guys for watching the show and tell you more about some free content that we offer. One of the things that we offer is a free email newsletter. So if you click the link down below, you can sign up for free market analysis, trading tips, and exclusive offers. Every once in a while, someone here at A1 Trading takes a crazy trade and you'll be the first one to know about it. See you guys next time.